welcome you to college basketball presented by KFC. We have come out to the left coast. Pac-10, Poly Pavilion, UCLA hosting California. The Pac-10 standings, the Bruins, for the third consecutive year, have wrapped up the championship. The Bears, a very young team, a somewhat disappointing year, but this could help make their season if they could upset the Bruins here this afternoon. Welcome, everybody. With the former Bruin coach, Steve Lavin, I'm Brett Musburger. Steve, we've got to give this Bruin organization high marks for what they've accomplished here.
Well, think about it, Brent. UCLA has been the most dominant basketball program over the last 3 years. Ben Howland has brought a Big East brass-knuckles approach to Westwood, and Hollywood has toughened up the Pac-10 conference. They do it in a deliberate, methodical way. They pound you on the boards. Their physicality just wears you down.
What's at stake for them here today, having already wrapped up the conference title?
Well, Brent, UCLA trying to position themselves for a run to the Final Four, and it starts by securing a #1 seed. If they don't stub their toe here or next week in Staples in the Pac-10 Conference Tournament, they have the chance to play in the Western region in Anaheim and then to Phoenix and on to San Antonio. They can stay in their own time zone for the first 2 rounds.
Steve, for the fans in the East who don't see the Pac-10 that often, who should they look for on the California side?
Well, that's an easy question, Brent. Ryan Anderson at 6'10", silky smooth, a big man with versatility, can step away from the basket, can play inside and out, pick and pops, pick and roll, 21 points and 10 rebounds on the year.
Senior day at UCLA, Lorenzo Monterreal being introduced to the crowd, the first member of his family to graduate. What an unselfish player. A starter as a junior, but he went to the bench with the arrival of the freshman sensation, Kevin Love. Today, Love will return the favor because it's senior day. Ben Howland will start. Monterreal and Kevin Love will open on the bench. But we will see the young phenom early enough. Star Watch here today. Now, Coach Steve Lavin has already told you about the hotshot Ryan Anderson. He leads the Pac-10 in scoring, 21.5 a game. Darren Collison is coming off an amazing game. Thursday, he was Mr. Do Everything and helped lead him back to a remarkable win against Stanford. Our starting lineups now, and let's start with the visitors from Berkeley. California will be short-handed today. Devon Harden is out. Hip flexor. They'll have him back for the tournament next week here in Los Angeles. So you will see that Anderson and Boykin will be up front along with Verniso. For the UCLA Bruins, Shipp, Collison, and Russell Westbrook, the 3 guards opening up front. Mba Amute and Lorenzo Monterreal start here today. So, Lav, here is Coach Ben Howland, 5th season, has been to consecutive Final Fours, and yet I get the feeling this is his best shot to win it all.
Well, this is a veteran, grizzled outfit that Coach Howland has. And then you throw into the mix the underclassmen, Russell Westbrook, the most improved player on UCLA from his freshman to sophomore year, and Kevin Love, arguably the Pac-10 player of the year.
Here's Ben Braun, played at Wisconsin and New Trier, Illinois, high school product, which is up just north of Northwestern, and you will see that Devon Harden is best big man, dressed in sweats and sitting on the bench. We will not see him here today. Tap is controlled by the Bears, and they will bring it down. What kind of an offense should we look for here, Lance?
Well, they are an explosive offense, the ability to shoot the ball from distance, playmakers and shot makers. They'll keep Ryan Anderson, their leading scorer, involved, but there's the anticipation, the defense, and steal. Collison able to get himself to the foul line.
Hey, back on the free throw line. Just where Stanford said, oh, that was brutal. Even the head of officials in the Pac-10 saying that, yes, there was body contact, but perhaps at that point in the game, you don't call the foul. But a lot of officials would say, what's the difference? A foul is a foul is a foul. So the argument goes on and on and on. Now, give Collison some credit. He stepped to the line in that clutch situation and drained both of them to force the game on into overtime. Stanford had a chance to close it out. It was a great, great college basketball game. I hope you had an opportunity to see it. The Lopez brothers were magnificent. For my money, Brooke Lopez could easily be the player of the year in the Pac-10, if not for the freshman Love.
Couldn't agree with you more. Stanford has the best tandem of big men in the country, Brent, with the Lopez brothers.
Randall driving on a runner. Rimmed out. Monterreal yanks it down, and Collison over to Shipp. So many pieces to the puzzle. The one thing, Steve, that you know I love is toughness when you get to the NCAA tournament. This is a tough team right here.
Well, as I mentioned at the Open, it's a brass knuckles approach like a heavyweight fighter. UCLA with the ability to dismantle, unnerve opponents. Over the course of the game, they just wear you down.
Short, and Anderson with the rebound. Ryan Anderson, his first rebound of the game. Randall brings it down.
Another positive aspect of UCLA, Brent, the reason they have tournament success is they control tempo. They force teams to play their style.
Tough defense. Anderson steps out and whistles up an air ball. Crowd lets him know it here at Pauley 2.
Very experienced UCLA team, Brent. Their core, their nucleus, back-to-back Final Fours, 3 consecutive Pac-10 championships, and that experience pays off come tournament time because of familiarity with the tournament conditions.
Collison will attack with the dribble. Rebound, California. The good news for the Bears is the fact you catch the Bruins on a day when you want to play it. They've wrapped up a title, big emotional win. Bad news is this is a very, very talented Bruin team. And Bahamute kicks it over to the corner now.
Also, senior day at times, very emotional. I went through 15 senior days as a coach, Brent. Sometimes a team responds organized with great energy and poise. Other times, a bit rattled, almost too much emotion. You see Mata down low with the rock off the board.
The players are determined to get him a field goal. You can tell they're looking for him. They like him. Randall drives in with a layup and ties it up.
Randall, a speed burner. A little trickery there with the high lift on the shot off the glass.
So here's one of the best point guards. You heard Jay Billis annoyed him that way too. And certainly no doubt about Collison when you watch Thursday night's game. Westbrook misses the 3 now. And the Bears can come out. They're about a 15-point underdog in this game here today. Here comes Randall getting inside, and Monterreal blocks it. Collison's got it down now. Looking for daylight on Anderson. Hits Shipp, and he's in too far underneath the basket. Now he comes back baseline. Bears rebound again, 1 and done.
They got numbers.
Boykin, the transfer from Duke. Jamal Boykin sat out last year, and USC is doing a number across town on Stanford. Stanford has to be down after that tough loss on Thursday night.
Well, coming off an overtime loss as we look at the trainer examining Russell Westbrook. You know, Brent, we talked about controlling tempo, and that's one of the keys to March success. Over the years, teams that make runs have momentum going into the tournament, airtight guard play, they establish tempo, crunch time performers in late clock, late game situations who can make plays, and of course the ability to control tempo, and then the whistles.
Add one. Good health, okay? We just saw,
that's catching a break.
Westbrook, I'm telling you, you've got to keep your guys healthy. Nobody is that deep.
And you have to be fortunate with your matchups, the brackets, the bounce of the ball, the officials call, usually a buzzer beater.
Stanford is saying, where was this shooting Bruin team on Thursday night in overtime? They are now 0 of 6 from the field in this game.
The Cal, an explosive team, they lead the Pac-10 in scoring, 74 points a game. Their issues will come on the defensive end of the floor.
Beautiful field goal for Vernisol. Eric Vernisol, who is playing down low in place of Devon Harden. He's had to be there before, so this is not new territory. Timeout. Pauley Pavilion on a Saturday afternoon. The Pac-10 regular season champion UCLA Bruins are trailing. And watch how Westbrook gets himself injured here. Now watch his knee to knee. And then sort of struck by the bottom of the right foot as he goes down. So shaken up on that play. And Kevin Love in the game for the first time here today. Montreal starting because this is his last game in Pauley Pavilion. You know, who knows? I'll tell you something. This could be Love's last game in Pauley Pavilion, should he elect to go to the NBA at the end of the NCAA tournament. Collison on a run right down the baseline.
A soft touch off the glass. Collison pick up Randall. Full court pressure now, trying to turn him. Collison has stepped his game up. Very productive numbers late here in Pac-10 play. There's the defense.
Turns it over. Here comes Shipp. And he sends it home.
Defense creates offense. UCLA has built this program on their defense.
Bernasel set that one up with the pass to Boykin. And Boykin puts the Bears back on top with his second field goal of the afternoon.
Well, keep in mind, Brent, UCLA expended a lot of energy, physical, emotional energy in that overtime, thrilling victory over Stanford. But down low, Kevin Love, looking like a veteran. The little jump hook establishes great position in the pivot.
Lav, would you agree with me? He plays bigger than he is.
Broad shoulders, keeps the ball high, a sense of where he is on the floor. An excellent playmaker out of the post as well, and the ability to step away and drain it from distance.
Aboya's foul against the Bruins. Here's that defense. Leading to a breakout for Shipp. Saturday afternoon in Pauley Pavilion. And Thursday night, we can take a look at the Bruins' dramatic victory. Stanford led by 12, 30-18 at the half. And UCLA led for only 20 seconds in regulation. Collison went off 2 free throws, sent it into overtime. UCLA wrapping up its third straight Pac-10 regular season title.
And USC up 9 over in the Galen Center with 3 minutes to go, Brent. Tim Floyd's outfit, very dangerous. The Trojans capable of making a run in the tournament. Last year went to the Sweet 16. They're poised to make another run.
Well, here's Steve in the early minutes. California 4 of 7 from the field, and the Bruins 3 of 9. Boykin is 2 of 2 for the Bears, and Coach Ben Broad. Christopher scoops, beautiful underhanded shot.
Well, Cal's been able to get themselves good shots, shooting nearly 60% here. It's the 3 turnovers, the empty possessions that have kept UCLA in the game.
Kevin Love on a pick and roll, good outside range, not this time. Rebound for the Bears have been very good on the defensive glass. It's been one and done. Randall sends it in deep now, and a block by Love. Off Shipp's foot, ball out of bounds. So there is Kevin Love.
Here's the ruggedness, the size of UCLA down low. Just not many easy looks in the basket area against UCLA.
Stuffed Anderson, didn't he? Bears lead it by 2.
You think of Mba Mute, Mata Real, Kevin Love, Keith. Just a big, tough team. Of course, Alfred Aboya, strong in the pivot. That's 5 players, Brent, 6'8" or bigger. That's 25 fouls to use at Ben Allen's disposal.
Keith seeing his first action of the game with 5 on the shot. Shipp misses the 3, and Keith goes to run it down, ball out of bounds. It'll be California basketball.
Randall splits the defenders, gets himself to the foul line.
Draws the foul, and there are so many fine players to watch, but let's just point out 2 of them. Tyler Hansbrough, a candidate for Player of the Year. He leads the Tar Heels. DeMarcus Nelson. Watch him play defense and offense. You said Ty Lawson is coming back. He's going to play a few minutes tonight, right?
He's the road runner, the beat beeper. He spearheads the Tar Heel attack at both ends. I think Texas and North Carolina, Brent, have the best starting 5 of any teams in the country. But the depth an issue, both at North Carolina and at Texas. And in a tournament run, foul trouble or an injury, as you mentioned, can cost you. But the best first 5, Texas, North Carolina.
So you're questioning the Tar Heels' depth?
The depth, a major issue.
One thing to keep in mind now, young Thomas got some valuable experience in filling in for Lawson.
And he'll be better as a result of that. When you look at UCLA, 9 deep, Kansas, 9 deep, Georgetown, 9 deep.
I would question UCLA being 9 deep, though, Lad.
Well, they are. We'll circle them. We'll circle them.
How many they lose? How many players they use Thursday night? You got your box score?
But at his disposal.
Well, here you are. North Carolina, lack of depth there. Memphis, poor free throw shooting. Tennessee, no traditional post. Duke, lack of size underneath. That's why you're not including them in your Final Four.
That's the Achilles heel, the chink in the armor. Now, those teams still outstanding years, 25 to 30 wins. All the coaches deserving a high praise.
Get back to me, Lab, on that one. All right, now here are the Bears. They lead it by 4. And Jordan Wilkes checking in, and the Bears are off to a really fine start. Harper Camp also off the bench, number 43, nailing it. And so that sends him out to a 14-8. So Braun's getting some production off the bench. And the Bruins a little bit of a victory hangover, celebrating the Pac-10 championship, and then Westbrook comes up and knocks it down to make it a 4. This game is going to be closer than a lot of the experts thought. Watch it. There it is, the 3 ball.
Got range to 25 feet, 5'10", gives it a little away in terms of size, Brent, but the quickness and the ability to stroke it from range.
Randall draining the 3. I told Coach Braun before the game this was a good day to be playing the Bruins. He looked at me like I was crazy.
Well, UCLA cannot afford to slip up. There's the offensive foul against Westbrook. Camp with good position.
Well, the Wizard of Westwood. We're going to hear from him, and there is perhaps his greatest of all time. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, when he played for John Wooden, he was simply Louis Alcindor, the Wizard, who's recovering, coming up in a moment. You cannot step inside Pollard Pavilion without thinking about the greatest coach of all time, John Wooden, who's recovering from a fall recently. And last fall, Steve Lavin sat down for an in-depth interview with the Wizard. And one of the questions Steve asked him was, what about the recruiting of Louis Alcindor?
The first thing I'd take him up, Pauley Pavilion. He's going to play the very first game ever played. He'll dedicate Pauley Pavilion. He'll be written up as the varsity dedicated, but they won't because our freshmen play the first game. He'll play the first game ever played in here. And I doubt very much if I'd have taken him up in the old gym and let him walk up the 3 flights and see the situation, if he'd have come. So I think it's the nicest thing that ever happened to me.
Indeed, and there he is, ladies and gentlemen. It was standing room only for the freshman game. And I saw Alcindor during that year here at UCLA, and he would do such a number on the varsity. And keep in mind, that was a very good varsity team that he was playing as freshmen weren't eligible back then, Steve.
The most dominant player in the history of college basketball, Lou Alcindor. 3 national championships. See the block by Love.
Yeah, he'll be introduced tonight as the IBM all-time greatest player.
You know, it's interesting, Coach Wooden breaks down former players. Mike Warren, the smartest. Keith Erickson, the best athlete. Lou Alcindor, the most dominant. Dave Myers, the toughest competitor. And the most skilled at his position, Bill Walton.
Interesting. Oh, Walton had that 21 to 22. Walton was the best passer I saw as a big man when he'd step out. So the Bears now lead 17-10. Cal is on a 9-2 run as Love missed his 3-point attempt. California so far doing a very good job as Kemp rolls in. Camp, I should say, and they control the glass down there. So the Bruins clearly have not received their wake-up call yet.
Well, Cal shooting over 65% against UCLA. So unusual that the Bears against UCLA here are able to get easy shots.
And they've turned it over there, too.
Looks like both Stanford and UCLA dealing with the hangover from that dramatic, compelling game the other night here in Polley Pavilion against Stanford and UCLA.
Christopher on the pull-up, and he drains another one. How good is this team? And Jordan Wilkes, and of course, he's the son of a UCLA legend. And we'll have that story as we continue. How about this? The Pac-10 champions are down to Cal. 21-10 timeout. Smooth as silk. There he is, Jamal Wilkes. Played on some of Coach Wooden's championship teams. There's Mom right there. They're watching Jordan Wilkes. Jordan's older brother, of course, played up at Cal too, Steve.
Well, John Wooden said Jamal Wilkes was the most pleasant individual to coach in his entire career. High praise.
You know, he's always been that way. When you covered him in the NBA, no one was a classier gentleman.
Just had the ideal temperament and disposition, and of course Coach Wood respected the fact he didn't play in the peaks or valleys emotionally. Like a great poker player, you couldn't read what he was thinking. Up 10, down 10, he had the same expression. That's what Coach Wood wanted all of his teams to embrace.
I'm impressed with Jordan's size. I didn't realize that this son was as big as he is, number 33, to get a chance to check him out. Monterreal's back on the floor for Coach Ben Holland. Boya takes it outside, drains it too.
Boya showing some skills from distance.
So Cal's run 13-4 in this game, and they built a 21-12 lead. In case you're just checking it out here, senior day at UCLA. They have clinched the title, but they don't want to be losing a game like this with that number 1 seed. They don't want to be seeing 2 ACC teams out here getting number 1 seeds. Battle for the ball on the floor, loose, wrap it up, and it's held ball. And timeout was called. Cal got the timeout called in time, and Boykin out to celebrate Camp. Harper Camp down to get a timeout. The Bears are playing with some fire in their belly here at the Poly. There is Ben Braun. Grew up in the Chicago area at New Trier. I've been a lifelong Chicago Cub fan. Now here's what you might not have known. The night of the infamous Steve Bartman interfering with that foul ball, Ben Braun was sitting 4 rows behind Bartman. May have helped save his life. He's one who called security to get over there because the fans were starting to throw things at the young man. So Braun was right behind Bartman that infamous night as far as Cub fans are concerned in Wrigley Field. And there you have the rest of the storyline.
Impressive. Sherlock Holmes doing your homework, Brent. You got your rest last night at the hotel.
Oh, yeah.
It's that Grafton Hotel, that Bohemian West Hollywood Hotel. I never thought I'd see Brent Musburger in West Hollywood at a Bohemian Hotel.
Come on,
a Montana guy?
I'm bi-coastal.
I like the versatility. I love the versatility.
There's Westbrook coming through for the Bruins.
We got that appreciation, that artistic appreciation.
Went over to the House of Blues, and Harry Zinn gave us a great tour. Wonderful place on Sunset Boulevard. Music, good food.
Old Harry's in.
Yeah. Memphis lad. He wanted to know about the Tigers. He's not happy about you saying they can't get there. Oh, a good drive, and he just failed to close it out. Camp's been very active. Harper Camp's been very, very good so far.
Yeah, impressive, rugged, low post player. Cal's a bright future. They're the youngest team in the Pac-10, Brent. A roster full of freshmen and sophomores, so a bright future for the Cal Bears.
And here is Wilkes in front of mom and dad. A little bit short on that.
You know, UCLA has shown a propensity to come back. They've dug holes all year long, double-digit deficits, and yet somehow find a way to methodically get back into games and then close out with a win. A lot of resiliency. And again, that's a reflection of Ben Howland, his toughness, his tough-minded approach.
Just found out for the rebound, and the Bears came away, and he stepped out of bounds. Knesevic stepped out of bounds. We got a final from across town. We'll have that story. Stanford, USC. Some of you are going to be surprised. Timeout. When you're talking about some of the top cheerleading groups in the country, you got to include UCLA. As you see what Carl was talking about, 77-64. Stanford goes down and unable to recover from that tough Thursday night overtime loss. Incidentally, USC on Thursday beat Cal also in overtime, 93-89. So the Trojans close out on a real strong note. And after the timeout, Bruins can't put it away and into Harper Camp's hands and down to go. One thing to point out loud, Ryan Anderson is 0 of 2 and has not scored yet in this game.
Well, UCLA consistently takes the opposing team's leading scorer and just shuts their water off.
Boykin on the drive, Love. Tough rebound.
UCLA does an excellent job of scouting and preparation, film work. There's distance, dialing up a 3. Josh Shipp, he has to get the hot hand for UCLA to make a run deep into the tournament, Brent. He cannot afford to be in a slump. They need that perimeter punch.
Anderson, I should say. I think I made a mistake of saying that Camp had worked his way, and instead it was Anderson. That's his first point of the game. So he shoots that free throw. So I correct myself on that.
Look at the pretty release. Got excellent backspin off those middle three fingers. Deep range. Excellent hand-eye coordination. As skilled as you can be for 6'10". Such a tough matchup. Puts opponents in a bind because he has the ability to pick and pop, pick and roll, slide down low, and bombs away.
What do you make of the fact the Bruins are trailing again, Lav?
Well, it's a worrisome tendency they have if you're Ben Howland. There's a nice look down low. Bob Butte finding love in the pivot. But they do have long stretches, scoring droughts, and that's a concern if you want to win 4 games to get to San Antonio, 6 to cut down the nets. You know, the last 2 years, UCLA ran into the hot-scoring Florida Gators. You have to be able to play defense, but you need to be able to put points on the board. Great weak side slashing cut by Patrick Christopher.
Christopher's a nice-looking player.
This Cal team can put numbers on the board. They've just struggled at the defensive end, getting stops, playing a consistent level. They're 4-4 on the road in Pac-10 play. They have a better record on the road than they do at home this year.
Anderson rebounds, and Bob Butte's miss. Christopher now outside 3 ball. And stepping out of bounds was Love that time. Couldn't stay in bounds on it. So it'll be Cal's basketball. So the UCLA Bruins hoping to stay here and close to home in the regional. Anaheim would be the first round, and then the regional down in Phoenix. That's what they want, just like Duke and North Carolina want to stay in Carolina tonight. And that could be something that's at stake in that showdown at 9 Eastern on ESPN. Here's Love, jump hook. It's a beauty.
The big, wide body allows him, like an anchor, to establish at point-blank range, and he has such a big target. His hands are like Johnny Bench baseball gloves, just big old mitts.
That's 6 points for Kevin. Anderson steps outside, misses the 3 ball, and stripped away, and Boykin couldn't control now, and there's contact. And the foul is going to go against Anderson.
Just that low post position, Shipp on the delivery, and just able to clear out defenders, and the soft touch with the jump hook. Buttery soft touch.
That was the master of the sky hook right there.
Well, the dexterity, the agility, the hand-eye coordination on the sky hook is what made it so unique. The height that Alcindor would get on that hook shot, yet still accurate.
Westbrook on the attack has Love wide open, brought the defenders to him when he penetrated. Westbrook setting it up.
A quick timeout by Ben Braun. UCLA on a run has found their offensive rhythm.
Watch this interior passing here, Lav.
Well, nice job of penetrating by Westbrook, and the give up to Mr. Love.
There you see that deficiency on defense that you were talking about. Let me remind you now, as long as we're talking about it. Love has the last 6 Bruin points in this game. Vernisol back on the floor. Randall brings it up. Cal's lead trimmed to 2. You just watch the Bruins play defense. One of the best in the country. Boykin has to go up with the hook, and he spins it in. Good shot by the former Blue Devil.
If UCLA does have a vulnerability, it's teams that spread them out and attack off the bounce. At times, UCLA's lateral foot speed is suspect. Texas exposed that. We saw Oregon for much of the game expose that. There's a travel by Shipp. He lost his balance.
So we've got a timeout. The house that the Wizard built. That's right, Pauley Pavilion right here. Timeout. We'll talk about John when we return. Here at Pauley, the court named in honor of Nell and John Wooden. John's late wife, Nell, no couple ever closer than that. And we note sitting over there in the black T-shirt, blue UCLA Bruins, that is John Wooden's great-grandson. That is Ty Trapona. And Steve, the Wizards probably watching today, recovering from that separated shoulder, broken wrist, and we certainly want to send along our best to John.
Yes, Coach Wooden on the mend, Brent. You know he'd love to be here supporting his beloved Bruins. It's one of the high points of coaching here is after the national anthem, right before tip, having the opportunity to go over there and shake his hand or get the nod like the Pope.
Yeah, he was like the Pope here. You bet. Anderson, deep three. Point BA paid attention to that range. But he's got his hands full defensively against Kevin Love as Anderson hit his first field goal of the game, 5 points. He made 2 free throws.
High marks of the Cal Bears coming in here with some fight, some pluck after that heartbreaking overtime loss against USC on Thursday. Spirited effort here in the first half.
Collison open for the 3. And it'll be UCLA basketball.
Well, speaking of lost, how about some lost opportunities? You've been following Joe Lunardi. The last 4 teams out of the NCAA tournament. Of course, it's still very fluid with the conference tournaments still in play. Joe Lunardi under the magnifying glass, putting those teams, his laboratory in full effect. Bracketology laboratory.
Love is fouled. And we can... The last 4 teams out, according to Joe Lunardi of ESPN.com. Florida, last year's champ, well, actually back-to-back championships. Syracuse, St. Joe's, and Western Kentucky. They've all got a chance to play their way back in.
Absolutely. The conference tournament is fresh snow, a reset. No matter how difficult the regular season has been, there's new hope with the conference tournament.
And California KO'd UCLA, a favored UCLA last year down at Staples.
That may have helped. That may have helped Ben Allen's team. Gave him a couple days to refocus, and you see Bob Mute there with the offensive rebound after missed free throw. I think his ankle's hurt and wants a timeout. Gets it from Dave Libby.
I'll remind you, is
Georgetown, one of those teams that can control tempo, Brent, with that spread court, international Princeton-style offense. And, of course, big Roy Hibbert, the 7-footer underneath, anchors that attack. And then out front, Jonathan Wallace, a senior point guard, started every game of his career for the Hoyas. There's another senior point guard, junior point guard, Darren Collison, shredding the nets.
I enjoyed that shot, and UCLA stays close to it. Now, with 2 minutes to go in the first half. Coming outside now is James Keefe sent in to patrol Anderson, and that's a 2 for Boykin. Boykin's been a contributor here today for Cal. That's 8 points.
Well, a soft touch. Originally out of Fairfax High School, played for Harvey Katani and chose to play at Duke, and frustrated there with the lack of playing time, chose to transfer back out west closer to home with the Cal Bears.
Love muscles in with the broad shoulders. Now he takes it back outside. Shipp drains another 3.
Well, just what the doctor ordered if you're Ben Howland. If Josh Shipp goes into the tournament, the postseason, with confidence from the perimeter, that greatly increases UCLA's chances, Brent, of a national championship. Good tap, put back the Bears on the boards.
A 4-point lead. Shipp coming again, and that's an air ball into Christopher's hands. Cal can build on this 4 right now. Randall is cut off.
Good decision by Randall. Bring the ball back out front. Make sure you get into a set. Get a good look at the basket. That's a nice look right there.
And one for Anderson.
Well, Randall there started that action by peeling the ball back out, seeing he had nothing in transition, and then Boykins with a nice post feed, good position. Anderson with the ability to take the hit and finish off the glass.
I think every expert believes that the Pac-10 is the number 1 conference. Certainly the Big East is close. And
here's where I would distinguish those two. I think they are the top 2 conferences, but as the season has wore on, I think the Big East, Brent, has more teams capable of a run to San Antonio. I think Georgetown, UConn, Louisville, Notre Dame, all teams capable of deep tournament runs. I think in the Pac-10, you're down to UCLA and Stanford. Not that there aren't other dangerous teams that could make a run to the Sweet 16, but not as deep a runs as the Big East.
And I would say that Arizona should be included, but they just haven't shown it. I mean, they got 3 NBA first-round draft choices on that team. Where are they?
And how about Oregon? The two disappointments, what's hurt the Pac-10 is Oregon and Arizona. Oregon last year went to the Elite 8, returned their nucleus. The loss of Aaron Brooks clearly has hurt that team. But still, disappointing season. They can help themselves with a win tonight at Mac Court against the Wildcats.
I'll tell you a team you might not want to play, and that's Washington State. Oh, I think Weaver is simply one of the finest defensive players I've seen this year when we were up in Pullman.
Another team that controls tempo. Late clock. This is a big possession for Cal. They can go into half feeling good about themselves with great momentum. There it is.
They're still going to go in feeling pretty good, Steve. I mean, they've got a lead here at the half. And there is Bruins here at home. Trails Oregon. And, of course, Thursday night in that classic comeback, they were down by a dozen. Get ready for some adjustments. The Bears lead it by 7. Well, the introduction of the 1967-68 championship team, Lucius Allen, started in the backcourt for the Wizard of Westwood. And, of course, Mike Warren was another one of his guards, and the captain, the big man.
You know what I'm saying? And, if I've had any success as a parent, it has to do with what I put. So thank you, Coach. We wouldn't be here.
So Lou Alcindor, now known as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, thanking the legendary John Wooden as we welcome you back to college basketball, presented by KFC. California with a 7-point lead in the great 67-68 championship team in attendance here, but UCLA is still trying to, you know, come from behind as they did Thursday night.
You see as they consistently dig themselves into a hole, double-digit deficits, but they like to come back like Lazarus. Cal Bears, hats off. They are shooting the ball very well. Only 3 turnovers, and what impressed me, Brett, was they're even on the board, 16 apiece. UCLA first in rebounding.
There's a sign right behind you. Oregon State's next coach. That's not me. That's not me. They're talking about. That's you. That's you
planted that. You planted that.
You're getting applause back here.
I bet you planted
I stayed up half the night to paint that
Those
sign.
are my agents up there. Oh, yeah. That's why you were in West Hollywood with the Bohemians there.
Huh?
The artist, huh?
So I got some good restaurants in Corvallis.
That's good.
Can I come see you?
Good. Yeah. Tough on the social life up there. I'm not sure if my wife would be up for that.
Well, Mary's here today, you know. Huh?
Yeah, that was my greatest overachievement.
You did overachieve.
Securing my wife, without a
no
doubt.
Question.
You know, Baron Davis was a great sign.
There she is,
Watson,
ladies and
Jerome
gentlemen.
Moiso.
We're not kidding.
That's clearly overachievement right there, without a doubt. The #1 recruit, a lottery pick, way over my head.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, back to the game here. Our Colonial Life one-on-one spotlight. Kevin Love and Ryan Anderson. They did a good job. Both of them were held down a little bit. Kevin, of course, didn't start because Monterreal in his final game here on Poly slipped into the starting lineup. So we shall see as the Bruins are forced to come from behind. You know, you didn't answer the question. I'll get back to that later. Here we go.
Beaver fever?
That's it, man.
Corvallis, rekindle the Ralph Miller spirit?
Well, there was a time when they really played good basketball.
Mark Radford, Bloom, and Lester Connor, Gary Payton, Steve Johnson, Charles Sitton. Ralph Miller had it going on.
Fine coach. He played some defense, his players, and now as Kevin Love backs down on Anderson. Kickback, Collison, 3. Yes. What a way to start the second half of the Bruins last.
Well, we talked about their propensity to fall behind, yet the resiliency to come back, wear teams out, and then put them away with the late haymaker.
And at the other end, you know, just like you said, the Bears do not have trouble scoring the basketball.
Well, they're shooting 50%. You see the overall balance offensively and inside-outside attack. They've only had 3 turnovers, so airtight efficiency for the Bears.
Shipp is at the tap, back by the phenom. Kevin Love, folks, his middle name is Wesley. His dad was drafted, played alongside the great Wes Unseld, and he has, you know, when you watch Love, he reminds you more and more of Unseld, Unseld was not a 7-footer, folks. He was a broad-based #5 player in the NBA, Hall of Famer, and you see Love do certain things Watch him in underneath now.
It's like the position he's able to carve out down low.
Right.
Like a sumo wrestler, he wins the leverage battle, which is so important in the foot fight for post position.
Middle name Wesley, named after the great one, Wes Unseld on a runner, and there he is again. Couldn't score this time, and now coming right back down. Verniso puts it down, and he's fouled. He's on the free throw line. Tough day at the office for the two elite teams. Stanford losing to the Trojan, and as a result, their second straight loss. So still at stake, can they get a top 3 seed perhaps? The Bruins are hoping to wrap up at number 1.
Well, the Bruins, so much at stake. The number 1 seed, the Western region, the opportunity to play in Anaheim and Phoenix to set up a 3rd consecutive run to San Antonio. So Ben Howland does not want to stub his toe against the Cal Bears.
Trailing the Bears by 5. Bruins were favored by a couple of touchdowns at least.
You know what's interesting, Brent? You know, Devon Harden out in this game, and sometimes you stumble upon a combination of players that are a tough matchup. And Cal was able to win at Washington and Washington State without Devon Harden earlier this year. So in some ways, they give away size, but they pick up some speed, playmaking, and shot-making ability, which is a tough matchup for opponents.
Knocked away from Anderson.
Harden had a viral infection on that trip to the Northwest when the Bears swept the Huskies and Cougars. So this team comfortable together. They've had success without Harden.
Three, no. Bruins basketball.
What's that phrase? Necessity is the mother of invention.
Yes.
You know, sometimes out of necessity because of an injury or a suspension, you end up having a combination of players that are better together, more well-knit, more cohesive. Nothing against Devon Harden. Great body, an excellent prospect.
He'll be back for the Pac-10 tournament. The doctors told Coach Ben Braun that they used him today. They might not have him for the Pac-10 tournament here next week. So Braun electing to give him the day off and see what he could do against UCLA without the Bears.
Don't get me wrong, Brent. You'd rather have him than not have him. But it's interesting how sometimes when a player's injured, the group of players somehow mesh together and play well. And that's what's happened today here with the Cal Bears.
Christopher handling now for the Bears. They lead it by 5 with 17:28 to go. Don't believe that they can move out of the 9th spot as far as the Pac-10 tournament is concerned. California on a nice run-in by Eric Verniso.
Again, the dribble penetration breaks down UCLA. That's one of their clear vulnerabilities. Matter of fact, they're giving up 44% from the field to opponents, and that is a very high number in terms of field goal percentage defense for a Ben Howland team. But they beat you on the boards. There's a lob over the top.
Anderson got a hand on it. Boykin puts it down. Head man is Randall, lost control, out of bounds, and looking for help.
Oh, look, he missed it.
Good call. They got it right.
Well, the three communicated there, worked with one another.
Dave Libby, Don McAllister, and Tom Wood are 3 officials here this afternoon. Cal shooting 51%, 17 of 33 in this game. And on the line is Anderson.
And once again, Cal spreads the floor, a little motion and movement, and then the dribble penetration by Anderson, isolating and attacking UCLA's lateral foot speed or lack thereof.
Strength of schedule certainly decent, and that reflects how tough the Pac-10 conference has been. No problem scoring the basketball. Their problem has come at the defensive end. They've got scorers out here. There's Ben Braun. Former Badger, there's another one of those teams that, I think can make it to San Antonio because they play so well together. They're not as talented as UCLA, I will tell you that right now, but they play well together.
Well, Bo Ryan controls tempo with that swing offense and a very solid defense. They don't foul. They don't beat themselves. They take care of the basketball. They always win the free throw dimension of the game or the foul dimension of the game against opponents. We got to get to our Final Four picks.
Yeah, we'll show everybody what we think's ahead for you. So Westbrook, kick back outside now, pull up by Collison.
Cal
into Anderson's hands.
Cal is collapsing their defense. UCLA has struggled some of late from the perimeter, Brent, and as a result, the Bears packing in the paint.
Tough shot. Tap back Anderson. No. Loose on Boykins on the ground. And a held ball. And they'll retain.
Anderson should have grabbed that ball with two hands and gone up strong. Take it to the rim.
All right, Lab, we'll compare Final Four guesses when we come back. The Pauley Pavilion, 45-36. Cal leading UCLA. Well, we differ on a couple there, but we certainly like the Big East. There's no question about that, Lav.
I like your Wisconsin. The allegiance to the Big Ten. Jim Delaney will be impressed with that. And they are a dangerous team. Bo Ryan, this may be the year he gets over the hump. He's been to an Elite Eight. He's dominated Big Ten play. But to get to San Antonio would be the crowning achievement of his career.
I
think these
UConn.
teams...
You know, I like the beat, the way he's improved. I think he's one of the most improved players in the country for Connecticut.
And A.J. Price.
A.J. Price, a great leader. Here's Boykin for the Bears. Up high, missing. Shipp yanks it away now. 45-36. Dangerous pass. Turn it back over.
You know, Cal's done a nice job of scrambling back in transition defense, Brent, taking away UCLA's transition attack. Some of the keys to March success we want to revisit here in a moment. We'll talk about controlling the tempo.
The Love, hands off to Collison. Pick and roll with Love. Collison on that pull-up mid-range. Bears coming right back down.
Cal coming in here as a major underdog. You say 2 touchdowns, Brent?
Yeah, at least. Runner in by Randall. Look at this team.
Well, again, dribble penetration at will. I mean, we've talked about that before with UCLA. Very vulnerable in terms of lateral foot speed. Keeping the ball in front. Once you break a team down off dribble penetration, now you have to help. You get a team in rotation. That takes down your shell rebounding position.
Beautiful drive by Russell Westbrook. Turnover. Bruins looking for numbers. Shipp dishes, and Westbrook back-to-back driving layups. Pulled within 7. He got it injured. I think that's Jerome Randall. Clutching at his left ankle area. Shaken up on the play. And
unfortunate, Cal cannot afford to use Jerome Randall. He's their floor leader, spearheads their attack at both ends. Made a poor decision on that last possession, which led to the UCLA run out.
Stepped right on his foot, didn't he? That'll
tangled up with Ba Mute. And UCLA able to quickly convert in transition off the turnover.
For California, Nikola
Tough break.
Nikola Knezovic checks in for Randall, and they're going to take him, I believe, right on back. No, they're going to sit him down over there on the side. I thought for a moment they might be heading off the floor, but they're going to tend to that left ankle over there. The youngster taking over the point this year. We'll have your all-time Cal team. See that Kevin Johnson is getting ready to run for mayor of Sacramento.
That's a shoe-in.
Wow.
Most popular man in town. I know you like CJ Charles Johnson coming off the bench.
Love them all.
He was on that Bullets NBA championship team that you called. I was on the couch with my dad and brothers listening to that broadcast. The great Sonics Bullets matchups.
Great matchups back in that day.
Unseld, Greavy.
That's when the NBA was the NBA.
Elvin Hayes, of course.
Deep three is good. Patrick Christopher.
His heels were almost on the sideline right in front of Ben Braun. UCLA just seems flat. No wind in their sails. They're dead in the water here against the Cal Bears. They're looking for a spark. It starts with defense.
On the free throw line, Mba Mute. freshman. They should be reminded of what Tim Duncan did before he became one of the best in the NBA. He stayed 4 years at Wake Forest, and you think immediately of Kevin Love. He and I talked briefly about it a couple of weeks ago, and he said at least his family was in a position where he is able financially to come back to school. Certainly in some cases with that kind of money on the line, you can't deny any of those youngsters an opportunity to go out. Their families have struggled for so long, and they should go.
Well, you talk about the old NBAs. We see Boykin off the bounce, take Mata right to the hole, and again, excellent game plan, well devised by Ben Braun. Spread UCLA out, get a little motion, couple touches, and then attack their lateral foot speed. Texas exploited that. USC came into Pauley, exploited that. We saw Oregon almost knock them off here and up at McCourt with that game plan. And now again, the Cal Bears duplicating that same game plan.
See what they can do with this 10-point lead. Westbrook keeps it on the dribble. Now Collison inside of 10 on the shot. Westbrook's going to go for the three. He's carrying them offensively. Russell Westbrook is carrying the Bruins.
Ben Howland calls a timeout after that three. Wants to set his defense and get a run going for the Bruins.
You've got to try to shut down this Bear offense. 52-45, still plenty of time left in Pauley. And Steve, you were making a point about the NBA before that last play.
Well, going back to the days when you were broadcasting those late 70s, the Bullets and the Sonics, you think of players like Gus Williams, Freddie Brown, Dennis Johnson, Elvin Hayes, Wes Unseld. Those were mature professionals. They were adults, ready-made to hit the ground running when they stepped into the NBA. Across the board, the professionalism in terms of how to handle time management, how to make decisions, both on the court and off the court. Right now, it's a very young league, and they've been plagued with problems due to that lack of maturity, lack of professionalism.
A lot of coaches who would agree with you completely about that. Turn it over. The Bruins have cut into that 10-point deficit. We got a chance to ease even closer to Coach Ben Braun's team.
Well, UCLA enjoys playing the role of Lazarus. How often have we seen them come back from the dead, resuscitate within the game?
Thursday night against Stanford, a perfect example of what I was talking about.
The Oregon Ducks, a couple weeks back, down double digits in the second half, and there's Westbrook to the hoop.
He's carrying this team.
He is the most improved UCLA Bruin from his freshman to his sophomore year. Added ball handling. I think that time he got with Collison injured really helped his overall complete game.
And Vernisel, huge three by Eric Vernisel.
Ice in the veins, Brent.
Wow, that
cold-blooded.
Got some good cheerleaders. I mean, Boykin, he's up on his feet, and he's on that bench. He's really supporting the team. Shipp's open look. Not there, but it's Cal's ball. Nesevich lost the handle, dives for it. UCLA on the turnover.
A poor decision, Brent. No need. You don't have the numbers? Bring it out.
ESPN's college basketball on ABC will continue after this message and a word from our ABC station. Ta-da! Keefe has checked in for Ben Howland. He's on the floor as Collison brings it up. Love Westbrook, by the way, is 6 of 10 now from the field. 13 points. He's leading the Bruins. Ryan Anderson has a dozen for the Bears. They're your leading scorers right now.
Little zone defense here by Cal out of the timeout. UCLA will try and get that ball in the sweet spot. The free throw lane area in the short corner.
Westbrook is forced out with 5 on that shot. Now Collison knows that he's got 3. He's got to hurry on a run. Battle for the rebound. And Keefe tracks it down, knocked free. Here's Collison again. Now Love muscles. Keefe on the other side.
There's that depth of UCLA, Brent, coming into play. There'll be games where Ben Howland elects not to substitute liberally. He'll go with 6 or 7. But Addis just, oh, nice dump down, high-low look. Camp into Wilkes for the flush. That'll make Daddy proud.
Yeah, Jordan Wilkes.
But other games building on that point, Brent. Ben Howland at his disposal can use 9 players and try to wear an opponent down or look for a spark off the bench.
So Collison is tripped up as he tries to split the D.
You're right about Camp being a prospect. Nice entry into the post, a breakdown defensively by UCLA, and Wilkes just naked under the basket with the flush. There's Pops. Attaboy. Boy, Jamal Wilkes moved well without the ball, Brent. Talk about someone who was sneaky and crafty.
Great jump shot. Not this time for Keefe. Head man is Randall. Good to see he's back with that injured ankle. And Boykin sets up 3-ball on the money.
Are you kidding me? The Cal Bears and Pauley Pavilion? A ninth place team just lighting them up.
49. They have built an 11. And Coach Allen says, what's going on here? Let's see if it's a 3. The officiating group, Livy, McAllister, and Wood, I think, are going to double check.
Randall with that skip pass over the top. Boykin's the former Blue Devil.
No doubt about it.
Great lift, pronation, bottoms of the net. Great camera work there. Let's give Ben Braun a little love. He's come under some heat lately in the Bay Area. The second winningest coach in Cal Bear history. He's taken Cal to 7 postseasons. And this is a young team that clearly has struggled. They've lost 6 of 7. A win here would go a long way to being a shot in the arm, taking some of those critics off his back.
It's a young team. When you take a look at the roster, they had to change in the backcourt this year. They lost their experience at the point.
The youngest in the Pac-10.
This was not a good year to attempt to climb up in this conference. You take a look at the depth, the talent out here in the Pac-10.
Well, how about the road record of teams in this league? That is a remarkable statistic. There really isn't a home court advantage because this league is so deep.
Did anybody think there was a question about this? There was no question. I mean, I didn't think it was close. 60-49.
Just remind them the road.
So Braun with a big lead. 10 minutes now for the Bruins. They showed great heart on Thursday night. Of course, they've already wrapped up the conference championship, but the coach doesn't want to slip up here with that #1 dangling that carrot right in front of them so that they can go to the first couple of rounds down in Anaheim, and then if they get through that, go to Phoenix for the West Regional.
This would be a devastating loss. It really negates the Stanford win.
Westbrook, ball's knocked loose, and here they come. That zone has been troubling here, and then the Bears give it right back.
We cannot afford those type of decisions. If you're going to knock off a top-ranked team, a potential #1 seed in UCLA. Very small margin for error. And again, look at this statistic here, Brent. 43-42 Pac-10 teams this season. And compare that to other conferences where the home team clearly has a home court advantage.
Westbrook carried the load scoring here lately. Kevin Love muscles in with great determination. He's on the free throw line.
Now, Brent, going back to that graphic,
shaking up a little bit.
He's a tough kid. Bounce back. Can't hurt him. Built like a diesel truck. Grabbing the ankle there, little stretch. But going back to that statistic, as we watch Love underneath here, physical late game, got whacked.
You know, you're talking about Ben Braun. He's won 2 of his last 3 games here in Pauley Pavilion. He won 64-51 in 2005 and in 2006, 68-61. And Cal has won at least 1 game against UCLA in each of the last 9 years. Last year was the exception as they dropped both regular season meetings, but then in overtime they eliminated the Bruins from the Pac-10 tournament 76-69.
Well, Ben Braun is the dean of the Pac-10. 12 years at the helm, coaching the Cal Bears. Tells you also how much change there's been in the Pac-10 for him to be the dean. And he looks young.
He does.
Wow, good genes.
Must be that good Napa wine up there in San Francisco, huh?
That's right, the fresh air. Of course, a little tennis at the Claremont Hotel. Doesn't hurt either, and I think he likes yoga. So the breathing involved and the flexibility.
Did you ever try that yoga lab?
I have, on occasion. My wife talked me into it a couple times.
Did it work?
It's helped a little bit. What do you think? I mean, could be worse, right? The Buddha belly and the concave chest.
Anderson driving through Lab, and right back to Westbrook. And he's on the free throw line. What was that last comment?
Well, I have a spiritual body. It's a Gandhi concave chest and a Buddha belly, but it's very spiritual. But that's what happens when you get older. You get the Winnie the Pooh belly. It happens with time. You can appreciate that, right?
Yeah, you sure can.
Not a shadow of my old self.
So Russell now on the free throw line. I'll tell you, California playing a little bit looser than Stanford did when the Bruins mounted that comeback on Thursday night. This could be a very dangerous underdog right here.
A dangerous team, and also sometimes when your season bottoms out, you've lost 6 or 7, you play a little more loose. Teams at the top have so much at stake. Conference championships, high seedings, getting shipped out of the Western region, and because there's so much at stake, more pressure. You play a little more uptight as a result.
Missing that 3. Bruins are attempting to edge even closer.
Coach Allen, though, big picture, has to be concerned with this trend of digging holes.
And Bob Mute swings in, and that may be his first field goal of the game. It is. 5 total points.
Cal has to be sure they take care of the ball, and Ben Braun wants to talk about it right here.
And they've cut it to 7. Biggest deficit, I believe, was 11. And Cal twice went out by that. I know your father's a big fan of that Bay Area basketball.
Well, my dad played for Pete Newell at USF, where they won the NIT championship in '49, and then Newell went to Michigan State before returning to Cal for his great run with the Bears.
Left-handed Boykin. Boy, Duke would like to have him tonight against North Carolina. He's an offensive force, this rascal. That's 17 points for him.
Well, again, and within their schemes, out of that timeout, Ben Braun, a little false motion, some movement, engage the D, and then isolate and go to work.
Love back on the free throw line.
Clearly, Ben Braun has found a weakness, a chink in UCLA's armor, as other coaches have this year. Boykin's just going to face up Kevin Love and take advantage of the speed game. Break his feet down, little crossover there. A nice soft left.
Say, look, we've had a lot of UCLA Bruins go to the Lakers. UCLA to Lakers. Who is the first Laker player to go to UCLA?
The first Laker player to go to UCLA.
That's a trick question.
Keith Erickson?
Trick question. Kevin Love. Lake Oswego Lakers. I couldn't wait to pull that one.
Well, I know Trevor Ariza, my last recruit at UCLA, with the Lakers but injured. Of course, Jordan Farmar.
Jordan Farmar. The foul called against UCLA. Anderson on the attack that time. 64-57. The question now.
This is where we're going after the game, Brent. Couple tall boys.
Not me. Not me. I'm going to go watch Dickie V. I got to see Duke in Carolina.
Back to West Hollywood.
Maybe
Bohemian joint, the Grafton.
Timeout. Ryan Anderson steps to the free throw line.
My favorite Catwoman was Halle Berry, but Eartha Kitt in her prime made a good run. Don't you agree?
I would totally agree.
But I have to give a slight edge.
You can still at night with a cigar and a glass of red, little Eartha Kitt. It don't get any better than that, lad. So there we are in the second half. Cal 10 of 14 and UCLA 8 of 19. See what the Bruins could do. That this zone has slowed things up here, lad.
Well, all the right notes Cal's been hitting on. They've +1 on the boards. Ben Braun's made all the right adjustments coming out of timeouts. Nice power move and pump fake by Mbamute.
Good attack on the zone. Get into your
into
sweet
the gaps.
spot. Yeah.
And then to sit down and dump it off. UCLA drills that on a daily basis. Their guards take it into traffic, jump stop. They don't commit themselves to the air, and then as a result, from that base, they can make decisions. Dump it off, shoot it, get fouled, fan it back.
Another great defensive play. Loose ball, and there's going to be a foul call. Westbrook tried to regain control of it and committed the personal foul there.
You like to see that good sportsmanship as you want to compete. And here comes Boykins to help
Helping him
Westbrook
up after he fouled him.
Nothing wrong with a little sportsmanship in the heat of the battle. And then the next time down the floor, you knock him down again, of course.
This is big front end. Shooting 1-on-1 now.
I think UCLA has confidence, Brent. As Westbrook makes the first, because they're familiar with comebacks. Go all the way back to the Michigan State game. UCLA was on the ropes for the majority of that game before coming back and knocking off the Spartans. So this has been part of their identity, not an identity that Ben Howland wants. He'd rather have his team get up and sustain leads and not dig a hole. You play better competition in the NCAA tournament, it could cost you in a single elimination game format.
Another possible turnover. Nope. Regaining control. Vernicel. Battling down, and Boykin drew the foul this time, and I'll tell you, Boykin has stepped up big here this afternoon.
He's actually playing a little bit like Jamal Wilkes or Marcus Johnson, a Bobby Dandridge, going back to the old school, facing up opponents and very efficient. No wasted movement, no between the legs, behind the back. He just faces up his defenders and attacks those feet and gets to the rim at will. Got excellent ball fakes and footwork. And then the poise at the end, not to rush.
Perfect stroke.
Brent, take a look at the ball fake. As he faces up Mata. Just going to lift him. Gets him airborne, puts him in the popcorn popper, and then gathers off of 2 feet. A little leaner, able to draw the foul.
So Monterreal heads to the bench. Love returns. Missed his second. Bruins down a half dozen.
Now with a very small margin for error, playing on the road against a deep, talented Pac-10 champion UCLA team. Got to convert free throws if you're going to pull off the upset.
The zone keeping the Bruins at the perimeter. They've been able to dribble penetrate here and set some things up.
That's been in the scouting report over the years against Ben Howland's teams, is to throw his zone at him.
Collison, and that'll bring him out of that zone. 67-64.
Good patience by UCLA, Brent. Probing, screening the top of that zone.
Collison came up so big on Thursday. Here's a drive back at the other end and a tap in. Anderson camped out underneath. Made it 69-64. So Collison, again the ringleader, with Love on a high pick and roll.
Glad to see Anderson under the basket in late game situations there for that putback. Sometimes it becomes too perimeter oriented. They need his size down low.
Collison on the drive, turn it over.
Cal's going to make good decisions here.
Randall behind the back, and scoring is Patrick Christopher.
A great decision by Randall and a good gather by Christopher. Just that little extra second, able to get to the other side of the rim.
So the Bears figure to hit money time the last 5 with the lead in this game now. And one. Amute with a chance for the old-fashioned 3.
Randall, roadrunner, a beeper in the open court. Here's the push, a little wraparound pass, and the gather, one bounce by Christopher, and then Bahamute. And one.
We're sitting on a 4-point game. Welcome to college basketball presented by KFC on ABC. Steve Lavin, I'm Brent Musburger. UCLA ahead only one time in this game. It has been the California Golden Bears dictating, once led by 11, under pressure right here. Anderson steps out, misses the 3, and rebounding is Westbrook for the Bruins, and here they come. And that could be charging, yes.
Good call. Gutsy call on the road. Those are the ones you have to make if you're going to officiate the Final Four someday. Giving ground. Westbrook lowers the shoulder. Clearly the offensive foul.
Eric Vernicel set up and took the charge, so give Eric credit on that, and that's the 3rd foul on Westbrook for Coach Ben Howland. Now he needs that defense to take over, and he's got one of the best in the country.
Cal should run Ryan Anderson low.
They do right there, Steve. They've got him down on the low block, going to turn baseline, double team, foul against the Bruins, and that puts Anderson on the free throw line. Mba Amute.
Well, a simple little 2-man game, inversion, and the dump down to Anderson, where he could use his size and skill, an excellent free throw shooter, leading scorer in the Pac-10. Wise move to go through him. There's nothing wrong with Anderson.
Big free throw for Anderson.
88%er.
19 points for the conference's leading scorer. 5-point difference here, coming down toward 4. Going in low, and Anderson hooking around.
Got to move those feet quicker. Got to play defense before your man gets the ball. The foot fight in the post. Anderson caught on the high side.
No one teaches that any better than Bo Ryan at Wisconsin.
Well, every shot you take against a Wisconsin Badger team is with a defender between the offensive player and the basket. And that sounds simple. CYO, belly button defense, stay between your man and the bucket. But you have to drill that, create habits. Basketball, a game of habits. The team that has the talent with sound fundamental habits more often than not wins. And that's why Bo Ryan, a consistent winner.
You're talking like a football coach now. Repetition, repetition, repetition. 4-point game, 72-68, 4:26. Make it a 3.
This sure looks familiar, Brent.
It sure does.
UCLA crawling back into a game methodically, deliberately, and then throwing the haymaker late.
Bears looking to the big shot. Who will take it? Love is out on Anderson. Who wants to take the big shot? Somebody got to step up here. Go in low. Strip. Turn it over. Can tie with a 3.
What a weekend of basketball here in Pauley Pavilion. If you're a basketball fan, 2 remarkable games, Thursday and Saturday. Tough to come back less than 48 hours later and play a game at this level.
Kevin Love draws a double, switches over to Westbrook with the pass, tap back, no, and foul called underneath.
Playing volleyball in the backboards. UCLA passed the ball to themselves. There's Kevin Love, encouraging the student section.
The crowd in Pauley Pavilion loves it. The house that John Wooden rocked so many times in his legendary career. Coming up, we'll hear more from the Wizard of Westwood. Ever did it any better than the legendary John Wooden. Steve Lavin caught up with him last fall. Wonderful, wonderful interview. And here was just one of the Wizard's poignant comments.
Coach, are you afraid of death? I said, that's an odd question to ask a 95-year-old man. I said, no, I'm not afraid of it. I'm not going to intentionally hurry it up, but I'm not afraid of it. I've been blessed so much with a wonderful family, friends through the years, wonderful players under my supervision various times, and I live at a place where in an hour or so I can be on the ocean or in the mountains or in the desert or Disneyland or some play or some movie or some athletic contest at any level, and there's so many things that, and then I said, out yonder, I'll be with Nellie again.
And that, of course, is wife Nell, and they were so close through the years. John is recovering from broken collarbone, and he's just a wonderful, wonderful person.
Well, and Brent, he still writes love letters. As we see an offensive rebound by Mbah Mute off the missed free throw. Anderson able to secure it. He still writes love letters to his wife Nellie, who passed away many years ago, but on Valentine's Day, on her birthday, on the day of her passing, with that great penmanship, just one-of-a-kind love affair that he had with his wife Nellie.
In low, and Anderson scores again as we welcome those of you who watched Oklahoma post a victory. Here with Steve Lavin, I'm Brent Musburger. California upsetting UCLA 74-70. The Bruins of UCLA wrapped up the Pac-10 regular season championship Thursday night in overtime, coming back to beat Stanford. Here they've been on the comeback, trailing once by as many as 11 points, now down 4, 2:50 left, regulation. UCLA basketball.
Both teams looking to play through the post. Not many looks as the defenses collapse into the lane.
Shipp to Love, down low, and Kevin Love, the freshman from Oregon, is back at the free throw line. Let's take a look at who's got the KFC hot hand in this game. Ryan Anderson, leading scorer in the conference with 21 points. That's his average. And Russell Westbrook has certainly paced the Bruins scoring here today with 18. And Keith Wilkes' son, Jordan Wilkes, due to check back in here as Love steps up to the free throw line.
On that last possession, Shipp penetrating, and again, the 2-foot jump stop, the help uphill, and the dump off to Kevin Love. Again, something that's drilled in practice. A big aspect of UCLA's offensive attack is getting into the lane, sitting down, and dumping off.
Boykin sitting down with his 4th personal. Vernisel also playing for California. And Love makes this a 2-point game.
Soft touch for Kevin Love. So important to the Bruins. Your big men get fouled in late game situations. The ability to convert sometimes is the difference between a win and a loss.
Randall behind his back. Anderson moves out, won't stay down, and Mute was able to get the ball off Christopher's hand. UCLA with a chance to tie or go ahead on this trip.
Surprised, Brent, that Cal launches a 3. Even though Ryan Anderson very capable, they've had so much success driving the Bruins off the bounce. Don't know why you would go away from that action. Keep in mind, this is a 9th place team against a 1st place team, which speaks to the depth, the toughness of the Pac-10.
Shipp in low for the tie. No. Cal basketball. Vernisel. They come back, so they survived that trip. And timeout is going to be called by them.
Ben Braun wants to ensure his team gets a good look, at least play through the post. You don't have to force a shot in the post if you're guarded, but play make through the interior. Inside out, chance to get fouled.
When you get a few minutes, you know, I always like to tout a movie when we come to LA.
Siskel and Ebert.
Well, Joe Morgenstern of the Wall Street Journal is one of my favorite reviewers, and he said The Bank Job, a retro thriller, is worth going to see.
You are a Renaissance man. Living up in West Hollywood this weekend, the Bohemian Hotel, now movie reviews, dropping Eartha Kitt on me.
Morgenstern touted Michael Clayton, and I still think that was the best movie of last year.
So we're in agreement on that. Not our Final Four picks, but Michael Clayton.
Exactly. I thought Michael Clayton was a fabulous movie. Great story.
I'm with you on that. Very deliberate tempo and pace. You know, suspense without having a lot of shoot 'em up or blood or sex.
Exactly. Well, we've got a little hoop suspense right here. A 2-point basketball game with 1:44 to go, and young Randall moving up to the free throw line. This is a big front-end free throw for the Bears right here. Clutch makes it a 3 and got another one coming.
Well, UCLA fans concerned they may have to travel away from the West Coast. Could cost their pocketbook. So this is important on a lot of different levels. Those Southwest Airline flights to Phoenix are a lot cheaper than going to the East Coast.
76-72 is the result of Randall. 1:44. Can Braun and the Bears hang on? Get in low to and follows, and still Mbamute on the other side. Cuts the lead in half. Timeout called by Howland.
Cal did not collapse defensively there with the ball up on the glass. There should have been 5 Golden Bears in the paint. Boykins and Randall caught napping on the glass. Here's the post up, the big anchor, Kevin Love. Didn't have the angle at the side of the backboard, follows it up, but there's the volleyball. Nobody guarding Mbamute, naked, the Cameroonian. Mbamute throughout his career, one of the best at cleaning up the garbage. I go way back, even the Gonzaga Sweet 16 game in UCLA's run to their first Final Four under Ben Howland. And Mbamute making big plays at both ends of the floor in the basket area. He just has a knack, a nose for the ball in key situations. I think these fans are a little shocked. Thought this would be a runaway on senior day against the 9th place Bears.
Yeah, a 15-point underdog has come in here and really stood tall all game long.
Well, this is Exhibit A of Ben Braun's coaching ability.
Possession arrow lab goes to UCLA in case we have a held ball worth thinking about in the closing minute as we come down 1:20 mark now. Bears with the ball and up 2.
Got to play through the post. before a shot goes up on the perimeter, get a piece of the paint, either through dribble penetration or a post feed.
Boykin is back with the 4 fouls. He's handling the ball. He'll put it down, drive, great pass, and he has put his teammate Patrick Christopher on the free throw line. Boykin did exactly what you said to do, attack into the post.
Great spacing, and then probe or explore. Boykin off the bounce, able to force UCLA defenders to help, and then sneaking underneath in the shadows on the baseline, Christopher able to draw the foul. I went head-to-head with Ben Braun for 7 years in the Pac-10, Brent. And I can tell you, his game preparation, his in-game adjustments as good as any. The dean of the Pac-10 Conference, and he has come under serious criticism and heat. Of course, the football program has had some big years. They fell back this year. That's put some added pressure on as well. This would be a big win for the Bears.
Remember, he took USC into overtime Thursday night, too.
Well, that's a sign of a good coach. They haven't quit. They're continuing to fight right to the end. 4-point game, Cal Bears. How about it?
78-74. Now, final minute. Let's see what UCLA can do. Searching for that #1 out west. This does not necessarily mean they won't get it, but it could hurt a little bit, depending on what happens in the conference tournaments now. And Imba Mute is cut off at the line. Shipp is outside, down 4. Has to kick now to Westbrook. Doesn't get the roll. Imba Mute on the putback. No battle rebound. Shipp is there.
Wow, Cal on the boards. Undersized with Javon Harden out of the game.
Now there are the Cardinal, a hangover for them. They then go over to USC and lose. And they're still looking to get a top 16 seed. Perhaps a top 12. We can see. But the Bruins trying to get back in this with 34.5 left here left.
Brent, UCLA with no timeouts. That's a common pattern during the Ben Howland era. Likes to use his timeouts early, make in-game adjustments, but never seems to have any late game. It hasn't cost him to this point. Cal Bears still with 1 timeout remaining. They need to get the ball in bounds, #1, and then get it into a good shooter, because UCLA will go for the trap or the steal initially and then have to foul. UCLA not a pressing team, but very long and wiry and athletic.
That's down to Randall, and Randall is going to be fouled. The Bruins went for the foul early in the shot clock, knowing that the Bears could kill the game.
Well, how often do games come down to converting free throws or not converting free throws?
Randall is 4 of 4 as Love checks back in. Jerome Randall hit 84% coming into this game, and he's perfect. So he and Ryan Anderson are the 2 leading free throw shooters for the Bears.
We'll see if he's got the ice in the veins, see what his ticker's like. What type of courage you got?
Ticking good, man. You can tell on that rotation.
Well, I love the way he tees up the ball, too. Important, like a golf tee. You want to tee it up and then get that elbow lift and extension, the pronation in the wrist.
Pronation, talking like Ben Hogan.
Boy, cool customer.
And hit the rim with his last 4 free throws.
#2 team in the country under the 11 championship banners. Granted, John Wooden's not here today, but still, the pressure, high stakes.
How much pressure, Lab, how much pressure do you think that if the Bruins were to go on here, we got 31 seconds left in this game, 80-76, but how much pressure do you think this puts on the #1 seed out west?
Well, I think clearly what's at stake here, Brent, is UCLA now has to win out at Staples next week in the Pac-10 Conference Tournament, because with this loss to a 9th place Cal team, granted this is a very strong Pac-10.
Game's not over yet, my friend.
Absolutely.
Game's not over.
You proposed a question. I'm answering it.
Okay.
All right, don't cross-examine me here. Johnny Cochran, F. Lee Bailey. You want the answer or not? Give me the answer.
You're a beauty, kid. I'll tell you. So, in your opinion, if Cal holds on here, okay, and stages the upset, the Bruins have to walk through the Pac-10 tournament to Staples. They got to win it.
They got to cut down the nets at Staples or their 2 seed. And I say that because when you've got Louisville and Georgetown in the Big East as 1-2, Duke and North Carolina both top 5 teams. We haven't even talked about the Big 12 teams like Texas and Kansas. There's just too many elite teams
that they could send out here. And one of them #1 out west.
Yep. And the big question will be, will UCLA secure a 2 in the West again? Because that happened a couple years back. Dan Guerrero on the selection committee has demonstrated a lot of moxie and skill in that room, like Henry Fonda and 12 Angry Men, in getting UCLA some high seats. I would have liked to have Dan Guerrero during my tenure.
Now that was a movie.
How about that? That was one of the great American films.
Absolutely.
You know, we won the Pac-10 my first year, 96-97, went 15-3, beat Duke, the ACC champion, and we got shipped to the Midwest. I didn't have a Dan Guerrero. I had Pete Dallas blowing me up at the Bel Air Country Club, trying to get Rick Pitino in my job.
Oh, and Westbrook on the drive. Ball's out of bounds, belongs to the Bruins. They were looking for the foul, trying to stop the clock and get on the free throw line. I caught what you said there. It didn't go over my head.
Just having a little fun.
But we got the last.
We got to keep it lively here. Ratings.
Last 20 seconds. Love gonna fire the 3. Yes, tried to draw the foul. Hit the 3. Makes it a 1. Got a foul quickly. Anderson. They go for the steal. No, it's Bruin basketball. No foul is called in the corner. Bruins have got it. 15 seconds down 1. Big Ron can't believe it.
Pauley Pavilion magic in back-to-back games. That was clearly a downward hack. Usually that's an automatic call when you have the downward swipe over the arms and hands. Now, granted, Ryan Anderson should have secured the ball.
Here comes Westbrook. Final 14. Bruins trailing by 1.
A Hollywood script, Brent.
Going for the win. Collison short. Ships underneath. And the ball was caught by Cal with 6 seconds to go. They give it back to UCLA.
This is better than Hoosiers, the picket fence. Where's it?
Here come the inbounds now. And Shipp maneuvering, driving. Got it! Bruins win! 1.5 left. Hang on! Hang on! UCLA! A miracle at Pauley! A miracle!
Jimmy Chitwood and Hoosiers, Brent. The picket fence, Josh Shipp. I can't remember in Pauley Pavilion history, Brent, 2 more dramatic victories. There's still time on the clock.
0.1 second remaining. Take a look at this inbounds pass as Shipp then comes down the baseline, throws up a rainbow.
From behind the backboard, Brent. That looked like a shot out of a horse game.
Watch the clock now. The officials are over checking on it. Indeed, he was in tight to the baseline. And you're exactly right, Lab. A shot from Horse.
Are you kidding me? Over the top of the backboard, a Larry Bird-like shot. We said Hoosiers, Jimmy Chitwood with the picket fence. That was a tougher shot that Josh Shipp just hit. UCLA again, Lazarus, back from the dead, resuscitating themselves within the flow of the game. A remarkable trait, a credit to Ben Howland and his team. They are so tough-minded.
Here's Shipp, sealed up. Yes, indeed, over the backboard. And Shipp scoring 4 of the Bruins' final 7 points as they pull it out. But, of course, the key issue, if you're a Bear fan, what about the pass to Anderson down in the corner when the foul wasn't called?
Well, it looked clearly a foul. UCLA was intending to foul with a trap. Surprised the officials did not make a call. Seemed to swallow the whistle. That can happen in late games. Players get uptight, officials get uptight. And usually that downward motion, Brent, is automatic.
We watch, there's Shipp's shot up over the backboard to put the Bruins ahead. The ball was punched. Looked like there might even be more than 0.1.
That's what they're looking at. Boy.
It looked like the clock was running down, and it looked like there could be as many as 0.4 or 0.3, Lab.
Well, similar to the other night, UCLA's last lead, Brent, was with 19:44 to go in the first half. 16 seconds into the game. Boy, that foul call in the corner, Brent, or lack of a foul call, is what the Cal Bear fans at home watching this game are wondering about.
right, here we go. Up over the backboard.
A circus shot.
So now the officials taking a look at that replay are attempting to decide. Now, let's go back on this. The inbounds to Anderson. Ball knocked away. Anderson dives after it. The official behind may not have seen the hack in front if there was one.
Well, Anderson ended up blocking the view of that official. The baseline official at that point is the one responsible for making the call. And their angle.
So what that is clear from the officiating angle. That hard to see exactly what happened on the play. Not that there's any chance this is going to be turned over. But he got ripped loose pretty good in there. Westbrook was over there.
Well, that replay was a little bit late to see the actual downward hack motion by UCLA.
Now the officials are still checking this. Watch the clock, because that's the big issue. The horse shot.
I think that's going to be #1 on SportsCenter for a highlight tonight, Brent. Maybe, as you would say.
Might be. You think, Lav?
You think?
So they have to make a decision of what to put on the clock here for Cal. Let's take an up-close look.
We see Larry Bird do this from behind the backboard. He lifts it above the height on that shot, the accuracy, bottoms in the net. Look at the defense played by Ben Howland.
Yeah, right
High
away.
hands.
Defense.
Sliding the feet laterally. I think
they're going to put .7 on this clock.
Well, enough time for a tap. Something directly to the rim if you're Cal.
The crowd doesn't like it.
Boy, in hindsight, Josh Shipp wishes he just grabbed that ball and let the time run out.
And let's not forget the Kevin Love three-point field goal with 15 seconds left. They get it inbounds. Christopher fires. Game over. UCLA, the Pac-10 regular season champion, pulls a rabbit out of the hat at Pauley Pavilion.
Here's Kevin Love, Brent. Late game heroics by a freshman. And keep in mind, this comeback, Brent, positions UCLA to now be the 1 seed in the West.
And somewhere, ladies and gentlemen, the Wizard of Westwood is recovering and smiling. John Wooden couldn't have done it any better himself. A little horse shot to win it in Pauley. They'll be talking about this weekend for a long, long time up and down the Pacific Coast. Bruin magic. They pull it out. For Steve Lav and I'm Brent Musburger. So long.